Hey, I just got a notification that It's Going to Get Stupid is going live with episode 67.
I hopped on.
Wow, that's really loud.
Is it? Me chewing?
Yeah.
I only ate one then.
Thanks.
Was that better? Okay.
One moment, please. Your call is important to us. Okay. I think we're good.
Okay, good. Haven't said anything for quite some time.
Yeah, I know.
I'm dying.
Are you dying?
Dying
Were you
inside.
literally dying? Um,
Hi, and welcome to It's Going to Get Stupid, your favorite pop culture podcast. I'm Jose.
I'm Richard. I was gonna say
I'm Ron Birkin.
I was gonna say I'm Jose, and then I decided not to, and then my brain.
Your brain shut down. It's
brain
like,
shut
I
down.
can't do this.
I don't know what's happening.
Midstream, you can't change the streams.
Don't cross the streams.
Don't cross the streams. Okay, today we are going to be talking about dystopian futures because that's everyone's favorite topic in the whole world.
They're so not
futures.
topian.
Wow. Wow. So, which is different than utopian futures, which is amazing.
That's what it is.
Dystopia is, let's go to the
What
dictionary.
about Fruitopia?
Okay, that's also
That was a drink.
that's also a good future, a future full of fruit. It is an imagined state or society where there's great suffering or injustice, typically one that is
Totalitarian?
totalitarian, or post-apocalyptic. Okay, so there's a lot of movies that have been released, books. I mean, this is like an overwrought subject. The reason we're talking about it today is because I recently watched a movie called Snowpiercer.
And I watched Alita Battle Angel.
So similar, both dystopian futures. It's a little different kind of movies,
Sure.
But I wanted to talk about like, hey, what are some, basically what I really want to know, let's get down to the boiled meats.
The brass tacks.
No, the boiled meats,
Oh,
because that's what you eat in the dystopian future,
Oh, that's
boiled
right.
meats of it. I want to know what dystopian future you want to live in.
Ugh.
Like, which one would be the best? So we're going to discuss a couple and see.
Okay.
Which, yeah,
All
let's
right.
see which ones we
I
want to
thought
live
you were
in.
going
Okay?
to ask me like off
No,
top of
that's weird. That's we already know what happens when I ask you questions right off the bat. That's not good.
the French.
The French. That would be a dystopian future, though.
That would
the
be.
French.
Yeah.
So let's start. You know what? Let's start off with our favorite, because I have a whole list of like 25 and all this crap. But I want to start off with our favorite dystopian future.
Like just like
Oh.
movie?
Yeah, I bet you. Can you guess what I'm thinking of? We talk about it a lot. He's gonna fail, guys.
I am going to fail.
I asked him a question off the bat. It's my own fault. There's no preemptive
It's not the
question.
Hunger Games.
Nope. So we never talk. We've like talked about that one.
It's not Scott Pilgrim. No, Scott Pilgrim's not Dystopian Future.
Wow.
Yeah.
Way
I
off.
don't
Matrix.
know. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in the Matrix
Yeah.
is a future where human beings are not born; they're farmed.
They're batteries.
They're batteries, and there's a fight against the machines.
Yes.
So living there, good, bad,
Not so good.
not so good,
Yeah.
kind of terrible, constantly. Well, I mean, honestly, the people.
It's actually not bad if you don't know that you're a battery.
Oh, yes. Okay. So if you were to live in the dystopia future
Yeah.
of the Matrix, would you want to be in the battering pod or would you want to be like a freedom fighter
I'm gonna.
or released? Because you don't have to actually be a freedom fighter, right?
Yeah, you could just exist.
You could just exist to be like,
Yeah.
hey, I live in Jericho.
So I wouldn't want to just be released.
Okay.
I would definitely want to go either way.
You'd either want to be full-fledged freedom
Like
fighter.
freedom fighter or like fully tapped in.
I would like to just be a cook in Jericho. Right? That'd be kind of cool. Like, hey, look, I'm just waiting to
But see,
die.
even then, like you're not fully released, right? Like if you're a cook in Jericho, like you're gonna get called in. Like if the machines are,
I see what you're talking
the
about.
if the
Everybody gets
machines
called
are
in
coming
service.
down, like you're
They're gonna you're gonna go on one of those big machine
Yeah.
things, the stupid
Yeah.
machine things from Matrix Revolutions. So your numbers up.
yeah. Like if
And
you-
what kind of life do you think they actually? Because they didn't look like they were like, you know what I mean, totally bad.
like they weren't
they-
emaciated.
They were pretty healthy
Yeah.
people, ragged clothes,
Yeah.
cool, having parties.
Yeah.
Dreads flying, sweat going around. Okay, I don't think they were, and they had music
DJ
like
Morpheus.
in the core. Like I
Yeah.
think, they had drums.
That was such a weird
doom,
scene.
doom, doom,
That
doom,
was
doom,
such a
doom,
weird
doom,
scene.
doom, doom. It was a weird scene. It was really weird.
Like those two movies.
That movie was
are just
that was the third movie, right?
Whatever.
I know that
They're
was the
just
second
so-
movie. No,
They're just so odd.
wait, was it the third movie or the
They're
second?
just so odd.
It was the second movie,
Yeah.
wasn't it? That was trash.
It's hot garbage.
Um,
I'm gonna say. That's a hard one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Freedom Fighter.
Freedom Fighter. Okay.
Yeah.
Rick's gonna be Freedom Fighter. I'm gonna be Cook in Jericho. Cool. I wouldn't want to be in the pods though. I would want to know. I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to be like, and then I wouldn't want to be released like once the thing is over.
Yeah.
And know my whole life has been a freaking lie.
Yeah.
That would suck,
Yeah.
dude. Like think about right now. Like what if this was just a lie and we have a podcast? It means nothing. It means zero.
I mean,
Well, what's the difference? Okay, cool. We might as well just be in a pod right now, guys. My life sucks. Anyway, gosh. Okay. I don't think they have Minority Report on here, but that's not like. I mean, nobody cares
it doesn't start off dystopian, and then it quickly becomes dystopian.
because of the whole.
I don't know that I have a favorite.
Favorite dystopian movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Hunger Games because it's the only one
Okay.
that's really sticking out in my head.
Let's
right
talk about Hunger Games then.
now.
Really good if you lived in,
Like
the,
like one of
What do-
the
what do they
like
call it?
District 1.
District 1 or
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, like you're fine. Like
I
you
think
got
actually
the-
like the first 4 districts are pretty good,
Yeah.
golden, but then when you get down to like District 12, you suck,
yeah.
man. District 13 is wiped off the map.
Yeah.
Well, they're underground now, and they're the
Yeah.
military. I would want to live in like District 7. Like let's get the wool or something.
Man, I'm drawing a blank on like dystopian movies right now. Let's go through the list and then I'll
I'm
tell you.
I'm going through the list.
Yeah,
We're just talking
well,
about.
like you started off like
I only
already
had one.
knowing. Okay.
I only had because I've researched it. And that's my
Yeah.
job.
That
That's
is your-
my job.
that-
is to
that
do
is
this.
your
Yeah,
job.
It's my job now. What about Planet of the Apes?
We're talking Charlton Heston Planet of the Apes.
Doesn't
or,
matter.
Mark
Doesn't matter. The
Wahlberg
point
Planet
is
of
the
Apes?
point is it's the idea that your planet. Okay, it's definitely Charlton Heston. Okay, you go
Okay.
back to your planet, you find out that it's now Ape Planet.
Nah.
No,
What
you
you
good?
that cyanide
You
pill?
good? What are you gonna do? You just chew the cyanide pill and die? You don't want to live with where apes are intelligent,
Nope.
or even the freaking. Actually, you know what? The new Planet of the Apes movies.
Yeah.
That kind of sucks too, man.
Yeah.
That's looking not so good for anybody there either.
Yeah.
That's because that's like, I mean, I just kind of wouldn't fight the apes, right? Like at some point, I wouldn't bother with them.
But would they bother with you?
They didn't bother. They bothered
is true.
nobody.
Yeah.
They did nothing. Humans are just jerks in that movie.
Yeah, they really
Actually,
are.
I don't like that movie because humans are just jerks. At least in the other movies, the apes are actually jerks.
Yeah.
They're total jerks. Even the Mark Wahlberg movie. That would
Yeah.
just be weird because the Muppet factor.
But the Mark Wahlberg movie is connected to well, not Mark Wahlberg himself, but you do see the shuttle go off that sends Mark Wahlberg into space.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I don't. It would be hard to live in where humans aren't top of the food chain.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to live in that world.
Yeah, it kind of sucks, man.
Yeah.
Especially if you know, like, it was the same place.
Yeah.
And, like, I can't remember, like, did he go forward in time, or is he just in another universe?
I think he gets lost in space for a bit,
and then he comes back. And he thinks he's on a different planet, but he's actually on Earth.
Yeah.
And he punches the ground.
Yes.
And he's like, "Damn it, you did it. From my cold, dead hands." Anyway, that's my Charlton Heston impersonation.
That was great.
It was terrific, wasn't it? It was amazing. We talked about, what about what's that stupid diversion?
No.
You were
That's what you watch as punishment in the other dystopian futures. That movie was terrible.
What about Clockwork?
No, I definitely don't want to live in Clockwork Orange.
Well, I mean, like,
no, absolutely not.
But why? Like, I mean, is it because? I mean, other than because that's some people were living just fine, right?
Yeah.
But is it because how they punish people?
Yeah.
Like the whole, if you get tortured and brainwashed,
or like your brain melted into something
well,
else.
It's better than drilling a head in their head and right? No, lobotomy.
So.
It's better than lobotomy. No, it's not.
I don't know. Okay. I think they're both pretty bad.
Oh, Gattaca. That's a good one. I like that one. Okay.
Never saw it.
You never saw Gattaca?
No.
Okay, so the premise of Gattaca is because in all these the whole things these dystopian future have in common, it's about control of people, right? So in the future, you're able to engineer your baby, right?
Okay.
So you don't have a baby anymore. You go to the baby store, basically.
So basically, like what we're trying to do in real life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You say, "I want a baby with blue eyes. I want
give me that baby.
this," and then they take all the defects. They take your egg and not your egg, but her egg, your sperm.
Yeah.
Put it together, take all the defects out, and make a perfect freaking human being.
Gotcha.
For the most part.
Yeah.
And then, so you can read people's DNA. Like you go to you take a piece of their hair and you put it to the DNA store.
Yeah.
Or the check place.
Do you like scan them like a checkout?
It'll scan their DNA and then it'll tell you, hey, this person is good or this person is not good or you're compatible. Crap like that. So based upon your DNA, you can get hired for certain jobs. You can do this. You can do that. Like, so the premise is there's a guy who was born normally, meaning his parents had sex and then he was born without any intervention.
Yeah.
So he has a potential heart defect.
Okay.
That's the problem with it. The DNA says there's a % chance that this could happen because of your DNA.
Yeah.
So they said that he might have a heart problem. So he wants to be an astronaut. He can't. He
Is this Ethan Hawke's character?
Yes, Ethan Hawke's character.
Okay.
So he meets Jude Law's character, who is an Olympic swimmer overseas, broke his back, can't swim anymore, but has the perfect DNA.
Okay.
Right? And so he takes his place. So he basically like cuts off all his fingertips and they cut his hair short. They do all this crazy stuff to make sure he doesn't leave any evidence around. So basically it's about being controlled based upon your DNA.
Okay.
Would you want to live in that place?
No, absolutely not. You know what?
As I was saying to you, you're like, this sounds terrible.
And as we're describing these movies, you're asking me like, which one would I want to live in? None of them.
But I'm saying like, how would you, like, not necessarily which one would you want to live in, but how would living in there even work? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what would you?
Badly. Terribly. It wouldn't work very well.
So in the Gattaca, the people that are with the people that fake being somebody else are called degenerates. You know what? This movie sounds terrible,
man.
but I'm going to tell you one thing right now.
Degenerates.
This movie did two great things.
Yeah.
One, it made a great dystopian film called Gattaca. Two,
can the movie make itself?
Yes, it did. It did. Two, it created Maya Hawke.
Fair enough.
Because
she was great.
Because Uma Thurman.
Because she was great in Stranger Things 3.
And Ethan Hawke were in this movie, and that's probably where they met. And then they had
if there was any reason for Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke to ever be together, it was to create Maya Hawke. Yeah.
So anyway, that was a good dystopian future.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty solid. Oh, Blade Runner. Yeah, another good one, man. Where you have
that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Just because it's so, I really like from the outside looking in, it's really cool, like visually to see that type of technology, like the high tech kind of cities. or whatever. The whole world itself in that movie kind of
It's trash,
sucks.
right?
Yeah.
It's trash world. It's like really, I wouldn't want to live there ever.
No.
And the whole thing is like, so they're using these replicants as labor,
Yeah.
right? Which is probably putting people out of
R.I.P. Rutger Hauer.
which is probably putting people out of a job.
Yeah.
Number one. So
Yeah.
get
Hey.
back over that wall, you you replicants. and two, they start treating them like less than human because they're not human, right?
Yeah.
But that goes into the whole: should an android be treated a certain way? So you have that movie. You have District 13, also similar, but those are aliens.
Yes.
A little different. Should they get the same treatment as a male human?
Sure.
Or I'm sorry. Yes, actually true. 100% true. That was not a slip of the tongue. That is the truth, y'all.
I mean, that's what would be debated
I'm
in
sorry.
the dystopian
I
future.
forgot to say white male humans. My bad. My bad. Totally wrong. Sorry about that. But anyway, so
White male human Republicans.
wow. So would they get treated? My computer's like, I'm shutting down, guys. I'm done. This is too much for me. Should they get treated the same? And I like that kind of idea. But think about using android labor. What's going to happen eventually? You get to another dystopian future.
Which one? I Am Robot?
Terminator. Is
Terminator.
what you get to.
Yeah.
Terminator.
Yeah.
Which, like, I would rather live in the Matrix future than the Terminator future.
Well, duh.
Right? Because 100%, like, they're just trying to kill all humans. What is the end goal there?
In Terminator?
Yeah. It's just to wipe humans off the face of the earth?
Because they
For
were
what
dangerous to
reason?
themselves.
But who cares at that
Skynet
point?
was
So what's going to happen once they kill the last human? Are they just going to blow up? Is Skynet just going to be like, I did my job. Suck as I'm out.
basically-
Then is he really, at that point, is Skynet actually an artificial intelligence, or is he just
It's just a machine doing its
a
job.
machine doing his job?
Yeah.
Wow. Think about that, y'all. Think about that. Chat. Yeah, I don't know why I did that.
Hello, chat room.
Anyway, I tend to think that the dystopian future thing is played out.
Yeah.
But if it's done well,
Yeah.
so let's talk about Snowpiercer
'Kay.
for a second, because I think that movie was done really well.
100%.
So if you've never seen Snowpiercer, when I heard about this movie, I thought this movie's stupid. This is the dumbest movie.
Because it takes place in a train.
It just sounded stupid. Yes, it's about a train. Basically, we messed up the world. We froze the world. Stupid. Because we were trying to do something. I don't even remember what we were trying to do, but we shot something into
It's
space.
like we blacked out the sky in the Matrix.
Kind of. But what we did is we shot this chemical into the sky, and it caused the world to freeze over. Okay?
Right.
Now, because the world froze over, I don't know if it happened instantly or it was slowly, but this guy before that had built a train to run, and they built a track all over the world. It's so stupid. See, even talking about it sounds stupid.
Yep.
He built a track that goes around the world.
Yep.
Okay? And he was an eccentric billionaire kind of guy, whatever. And so they let the people on the train, but they had a caste system. So they have people in the back of the train who are the poor.
Yeah.
Right? Then you go up, as you go up further the train to the head of the train, people get richer and they live better, different lives, and they get filet mignon, even though the train never stops. It keeps moving.
Yeah.
So they have to have this they keep talking about this like ecosystem that they have,
Yep.
right? And so when you're in the back of the tail section, you have no room. You get fed protein blocks, which
happens to be made out of people.
No, it wasn't.
I'm
It
pretty
was,
sure-
it was bugs.
Oh, okay.
It was bugs because
thought it was made out of people.
I saw the scene and I was like, oh no, they're just chopping up people, and that would be Soylent Green, which is another dystopian future.
Yeah.
Would you be okay with eating people anyway?
No, I would not.
Well, I mean, if that was all they had left, though.
No.
Chris Evans' character in there was okay with eating people.
Yeah, he was.
including babies.
Yeah.
He was like, babies taste best. That was the craziest little monologue
Yeah.
I've ever heard in my life. It was great.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
That's right. They didn't. The protein bars weren't people, but didn't they actually eat
so
people?
what happened is when they first
Like
got
if
on the
someone
train.
died, didn't they eat them?
No. So when they first got on the train, the people in the tail section didn't get any food or anything. They
Right.
gave them nothing. And they weren't allowed to go up in the front of the train, so they
Right.
went crazy after a couple of days or
Yeah.
months not eating, and they started eating people. So what are you going to do? They preyed on the weak,
Yeah.
and then he said something about babies taste best. And basically he was one of the people that was going around killing people and taking their babies and eating them
Yeah.
until a guy stopped them and cut it. Then people started cutting their own limbs off to
That's
feed
right.
the people.
That's right.
which is crazy. And he was like, I know what people taste like. Okay, that's
Yeah.
my life, guys. That's like how he said it too. And then he was like, Captain America. No. So this train keeps running, and it's all silliness about the mortal engine and what's her name, Tilda Swinton's character.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Oh,
Yeah.
so good. Like down to when she's dying, she's still like, oh, the maker and this and that. Really great. What's her name was in it? Oh man, I don't remember her name. Darn it.
Let me look it up.
She was the teacher. She was great too. But like all this brainwashing they're doing to people about how this train is, we have to keep it this certain way. In this ecosystem, really well done. The fight sequences were really cool. So there's one where the train goes dark and they have to fight this other group of people that are in masks.
They're like guards.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they are. I don't know what. No idea. I don't care. It was freaking cool. Looked amazing.
Yeah, it really did.
Looked awesome. And there's just all these little backstories going on, and it's good. Like I thought it was gonna be dumb because they're on a train the whole time. The problem I had with this movie,
Alison Pill.
yes, I knew she looked from
Yeah.
Scott Pilgrim. Anyway, so at the end of it, he finally gets to the front, meets the guy after everybody else has been. They killed everybody else.
Yeah,
they killed almost all. Not everybody in the telesection, but like almost everybody. Anyway, he meets Ed Harris, who is the guy running the train, and he basically says, "Look, you're supposed to take over my job.
If he made it up
If
there.
you made it up there, well, the whole plan is the guy in the tail section, the leader of the tail section, Gilliam, who was I can't remember the dude's name either. But anyway, he was the older guy. He was the one that cut his arm off in the beginning to give to Chris Evans so they could eat and so he could stop killing people, and has raised Chris Evans to be this better guy. Made a deal with the leader of the train that they would have rebellions every now and then to thin the herd out.
Right.
So that they can get more space and it would be okay. You know what I mean?
Control.
Population control. And so Chris Evans didn't know this at all. The character didn't know this, and he thinks it's a lie. But then Ed Harris's character knows he's getting old and is going to die, and they need a leader, someone who can make the tough choices.
Yeah.
And has seen both sides. He has seen what happens to people when you don't have order.
Right.
And when you don't have an ecosystem. So that was the whole theme of it. I thought it was really cool. I thought that was great. All that was great. The one problem I had is, so what happens at the end is they blow a hole in the train.
Yeah.
For some stupid reason, okay? Because there's the one guy, the engineer that they're taking down the train, he thinks the snow's melting. Obviously, that means we should be able to go out and we can actually survive out there. We don't need to be on this train anymore. They've been on the train for 18 years. That's a long time, man.
That was a long time.
So they blow the hole in the train. That, of course, blowing a hole in the train that's moving at whatever speed in the mountains causes an avalanche, which causes the train to crash.
Yep.
Everyone dies, supposedly, except two people. The engineer's daughter and the young boy who was manually working the train down in the pipes. And they walk out with their big heavy coats into the snow on the mountain, and they see a polar bear. And the polar bear looks at them hungrily and says, oh man, I'm about to eat. The polar bear was not emaciated, which means the polar bear has been eating and is. So my question is, how does polar bear survive everything?
Yeah.
Maybe they were wrong in their things, I guess. I don't know. But I don't think they're going to survive either. So it's like human race, because remember, these are the last people on Earth, period. Yeah. This is the last human race. And now they're dead.
Yep.
Because
they
blew a hole in the train and stopped it.
Yeah.
It was a very depressing ending, actually. I mean, some people think it's hopeful, but I think it's super depressing.
I mean, there's that chance, right, that they make it, that they somehow evade the polar bear. And
so someone that's grown up on this train their whole lives, never been out at any. How would they even know what to do, Rick? How would they even know what to do? They have no supplies. There's no chance. It's a point. Oh.
So you're saying there's a chance.
There's a -1% chance of them surviving. It was just very, very sad.
Negatives and chances.
Yeah, there's negative, and their chances is definitely negative. In fact, they would have, if they just stood still and did nothing, they have a better chance of surviving than.
No, you're supposed to tell bears that you're there.
Yeah, right. Hey, I'm over here, guys.
Hey, bear.
Polar bear. One of the deadliest bears there are. Polar bears. Anyway, so
What's
yeah.
up, bear?
So I mean, it's not like I didn't like the ending. I just thought it was like kind of
It's not the ending you wanted.
It was anticlimactic for me. It was kind of weird. It was kind of weird with all the other good stuff they put into it, and it didn't. I mean, I guess he made a choice at the end, but the choice was like, I'm gonna let the train blow up. It was weird. I'd rather do that than keep this charade going.
Yeah.
And I guess he realized. Well, I mean, maybe it makes sense. He realized like, this is never gonna be sustainable unless we do this, and I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And maybe we need to end as a human race. but it didn't work because those two people survived. He should have shot them in the head first before they crashed the train. That would have made more sense. Anyway,
And they'd still have
but
zero probability of survival.
but that's okay because that's what he wanted.
Yeah.
So Snowpiercer was actually a pretty good movie. I would not want to live on that train.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to eat bugs.
Yeah.
And I don't want to eat babies.
Fair enough.
I wouldn't even want to live in the like the front section either.
No, just jump off the train.
Because knowing that there's people like suffering in the back.
Did the front section know that there was people suffering in the back? Or did they assume?
They do, because the kids, remember when they went to the class,
Yeah.
they talked about the tail section. They said, hey, these are our guests from the tail section. They go, I heard the tail section doesn't do this. So they thought they were like
you're right.
the trashiest people ever. And they kept calling them freeloaders.
Yeah.
It was very like, it was a very politically motivated movie too.
Yeah.
Like these people, the last humans on Earth, they're freeloaders because they didn't do anything. But I'm like, what did these people in the front? That's what I really want to know. They should make it. They
were born into privilege.
But I want to, you know what? That they're making a show about it, right?
Yeah.
They should actually talk about how those people got on the train, like the creation of the train.
Explore some of the backstory.
That would be. I'd be interested in that.
So I think like Handmaid's Tale is kind of doing that, where they're starting to show more glimpses of
how the creation of Gilead
and kind of like where it kind of came from. At least in season 2, they did a lot of that.
What about the Handmaid's Tale? Would you want to?
No.
Would you want to live there either? No.
No.
Why not, Rick?
Maybe in Canada.
What I mean, because Julie, when we were watching the show, Julie asked me, she's like, "What would you do if that was us in this situation?" And I told her I'd die.
Yeah,
I would die trying to rescue you. I would die trying to rescue, I guess.
I would 100% die trying to get my family out of Gilead into Canada.
And then she said, "No, you can't die. That doesn't solve anything." I'm like, "You're right. That's a bad idea." I would actually fake being a Gilead person and doing all these terrible things just so I can get to the point to where I could take my family and get the heck out of there. So.
Yeah, but even as we were watching the story, as we're watching that story unfold, it's obvious like you're gonna go insane.
Yeah, it would be terrible. I'd feel guilty. I couldn't even live my life.
Like both of the protagonists in that show have gone insane to some accord. I mean, you have the Emily character who literally went insane and ran over a dude.
I forgot
multiple times.
You know what's crazy? So you kept up. You watched. Yeah. Okay. So I was watching it, and then when she was breaking down because she had to tell she was telling the consulate about what she did. Yeah. I had totally forgot she killed that dude.
Oh yeah,
I forgot she ran over his head insane.
So where the difference is, and I know we're going off of a tangent. Handmaid's Tale.
This is good. This is about dystopian future.
Easily one of my favorite shows right now.
It's a good.
It's really hard to watch,
and it's good at depicting a dystopian future that is like almost hopeless
and very realistic.
Yeah, like it could happen.
Yeah,
like easily.
You know,
I mean, not easily, but it could happen.
Well,
yes.
no, I mean, just think about like if you put like a sexist, racist administration into place.
Yeah,
this is what it leads to. But I mean, we would never do that. Like that would never happen. So I mean, that's where like the fantasy comes in. But I mean, that's
we would never vote that in ever. That's
the
ridiculous.
Fantasy part, right?
Yeah.
Fantasy. Where where we would like build boundaries around things to where like you can't, you just blow up half of the country and just let everybody else deal with it. Anyways, you see both of the protagonists go insane. Mm-hmm. Like you see Emily go insane. I can totally hear that in the microphone.
Oh, really?
You see Emily go insane like right off the bat. Like she never really falls into the game. But then you see June try to play her time in Gilead as a game, right? Because like she thinks she can outsmart it,
and she can't.
And she can't.
I love that about that though. She's not like with putting her up against Serena.
Yeah,
I like it because Serena isn't. She didn't manipulate her enough, and she forgot the power of a mother's love and care.
She didn't stay focused. Like she's playing like so many different
too many
games.
Angles.
She's playing so many angles and like.
But even if she kept on,
in essence, she's almost playing herself.
I think she is. At a certain point, when she decided not to go to Canada to try to rescue her child, realizing that was a fool's errand and you're not going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I think she made a mistake, man. She should just left with the kid. And
have you caught up all the way up?
No.
Okay. What was the last episode you watched?
It's the one where they were at the steps of the Lincoln Memorial,
Okay, so you've missed a lot.
Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah,
I think
I
over.
highly recommend catching up.
Well, eventually, sometimes.
But no, I wouldn't want to live there.
You want to live there?
No.
Because again, I couldn't live in another country without. I'd be like, why is this happening? Why are we letting? Sometimes I think that now. Anyway, why is this happening? What is going on?
No, I definitely couldn't live there, and that would that one is terrifying.
That's a bad one.
It's really terrifying.
A really terrifying one.
It's really terrifying.
And that's the thing about some of these features are like like Blade Runner.
Yeah,
that's not terrifying. That's just kind of sad. But there's some that are like even Hunger Games. I mean, it's not really. It's kind of terrible because you're taking these kids and randomly putting them into this, and the only reason they're doing that is because someone had a rebellion a long time ago. That's insane to me.
I think the scary thing about Hunger Games, Handmaid's Tale, things like that, it's very easy to fall into the trap of like, I'm just trying to survive the day, and falling into like, this is normal, like everything is okay as long as I do my job and I stay in my place, I'm gonna be fine. Right, and you see a lot of that in all the characters in most of these movies. Unfortunately, that doesn't last forever. Yeah. Right, you eventually run out of rope, and you make a misstep in front of the wrong person, right? And that's what ends up, putting you on the wall or getting you killed, or throwing you into a random game where you have to survive a battle royale style competition. Right.
Well, that's just chance, and that's the thing. It's all chance, and because you're not in control of anything, and the society is just so ultra controlled. Well, like you said, one misstep out of line puts you here, or just some random chance. Is like, nah, we're just gonna do this, and you have no recourse to do anything.
Right.
And that's really so. We're gonna talk about Battle Angel Alita in a second, but I think the thing that I learned from these dystopian movies is that we should always fight injustice.
Yep.
Always, no matter what.
100%.
And we should never, ever. Sorry, I keep messing with this thing. You can hear it.
I'm gonna slap it out of your head.
And we should always fight against tyranny. Always. Yeah. I mean, even if it does not the popular thing to do.
Yeah.
Even if people think, well, it's okay, and they're making excuses for it, because I don't want that.
I think at the end of the day, we know when something's wrong.
Yeah, like we know when this. If it just, I mean, the ends don't justify the means. They never do. No. They never do.
No.
Because they become different ends.
Right.
They just become different ends, and the means it changes the means, right? And so if we think, well, these are the good things that are happening, like if you have to murder a baby every day, not to save 1,000 people, but just to like make 1,000 people happy or some stupid thing like that, like that's not the right thing to do. Like, I don't care how good it is. It's like, can we figure out another way to do this? Yeah. Do we have to murder a baby? Like, that's a really bad thing. You know what I mean? So I think that's an extreme example, but we should always fight against tyranny and speak up when things don't look right. And even if we're wrong, even if I'm wrong about how it looks, that's okay. Yeah. I'll admit that I was wrong.
Well, and it's something that you and I talk a lot about, like, especially like in the church and different things like that. Like, that we have to be okay with getting uncomfortable. Yeah. And not just protecting our bubble, right? Because eventually that danger will burst, like will get into your circle.
Yeah. Right? Well, I mean, if you think about the Nazis, and I really do feel like that's an extreme. I do, even in this day and age, I think it's an extreme comparison. Right. Yeah. But it is true about this one thing, is that I didn't say anything when they came for these people. I didn't say anything when they came for these people, and then no one could say anything when they came for me. Right. They're not going to stop. No one, and if you see that progression, it doesn't just stop with a certain number of people. If they're going to be that way toward a certain kind of people, they're going to be that way toward anybody that gets in their way. That's a steamroller, right? Yeah. You don't stand in a line with a bunch of people, see them get steamrolled, and be like, hey, it's not me, and then the steamrolls right in front of you, be like, hey, somebody help me, but they all got steamrolled now, and you didn't do anything. You know what I mean? So,
and the guy driving the steamrolls and be like, oh, cool, I did enough.
Yeah,
like, I met my quota, so we're good. We're good.
So yeah, I mean, we really have to be cognizant.
I rid of 99% of you, and there's only 1% left. So you guys are all right.
Wow. So anyway, that's what this teaches me when I watch these movies. Like, the way to combat this is to not be silent. Because if you look at Handmaid's Tale, I'm sure there were protests. I'm not saying there was any, but it was kind of like, oh, well, this is crazy what they're doing. But I'm sure they won't go on.
Well, and it was very little adjustments to every
Changes, little changes here.
Little
Now
changes.
you can't go to work. Oh, now you can't do
Yeah.
this. Now you
Now you
can't
don't
own
have any
property. Now you can't own money, or you
Yeah.
can't have any money. It's like, wait a minute. At some point, you're like, this is probably not a good idea,
Yeah.
guys. This is not good,
Yeah.
and it's not going to stop. You always think someone else is going to take care of it,
Right.
and that's not always the case.
Yeah.
So
Or
speak
someone
up, people.
Yeah. Anyways, the last movie I watched, I know we already talked about Snowpiercer. That was the last movie Jose watched. Our last 2 episodes are just all crazy in format.
Yeah.
The last movie I watched was Battle Angel Alita. I gotta say I didn't care for it.
Rick is a fascist.
The more I watched the movie and I was like, that was okay. And the more I thought about it, I was like, I really didn't care for this movie. As a Hispanic man in pop culture society, I want to raise up Robert Rodriguez. And yet it continues to be the same situation where it's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of cool things. There's a lot of style.
Is he the Hispanic Zack Snyder?
Maybe. But his story, like the stories, they just don't translate well, or they just kind of seem empty and hollow. The thing with Battle Angel Alita, like it takes place in far into the future. So it takes place far into the future and then 300 years past that.
What does that even mean?
Well, because they've established this future where
okay.
United Martian Resistance
Yeah.
or whatever, or United Republic of Mars steps in. Like they have their own army. They step in. So that's the future that we're at.
And they fight.
And then they fight against them. And then
they
it
lose.
takes place 300 years after that war.
And then Mars loses, right?
Mars loses. The last place standing is this kind of sky city called Zalem. Which is led by this crazy person named Nova, which is Nova, who was in it for like 2 seconds.
Is that Edward Norton?
Yeah.
Edward P. Norton.
On the ground, you kind of have his main henchman, which goes by the name of Vector, played by
Blade.
Which is played by Blade, and Jennifer Connelly is his kind of sidekick, who also happens to be Christoph Waltz's wife.
Like in the movie.
In the movie.
Not in real life.
Yeah. Christoph Waltz was from Zalem.
Mm-hmm.
He is a scavenger and also a hunter-killer, which come up with a better name than
Hunter Killer sounds like that great. Every time I heard that grated me. I was like,
it was so bad.
But it's from the manga, dude.
I understand
it's not
that.
about
I understand that.
changing
So
things.
the hunter killers are basically the police.
He's also an android surgeon, by the way.
Yeah, he's an android surgeon. He helps out other androids or cyborgs, and he finds junk parts.
They're not androids, they're
he
cyborgs.
finds junk parts that get dropped down from Zalem. He finds this head unit, puts it into his daughter's body.
That's a confusing statement, Rick. His daughter had gotten injured,
but she died.
Well, and he made a body for her so that she could walk, and then she died before the body was used.
This is what I'm talking about.
And so he
There's
used
just so much stuff.
And so he put Alita on the body.
Yes.
Because he really wants a daughter.
Yes.
And so he made himself a daughter.
And named her Alita. Yeah.
Which is his daughter's name.
So
it's really creepy.
They never explain why Alita has white set eyes or why any of
because the
They don't explain why any of the Erms have white
because
set eyes.
on Mars your eyes get wide set like that. Obviously the pressure makes your eyes go like that, bro. Because what's her name? Michelle Rodriguez was in it, right? Wasn't Michelle Rodriguez? Was she the leader?
I don't.
They were fighting together.
Yeah. It didn't look like her at all.
I mean, keep talking.
Alita's played by Rosa Salazar, who
the only movie I've ever seen Rosa Salazar in was that stupid Bird Box movie. And she was only in it for a little bit.
She was only in it for a lot. She was in some Toyota commercials a long time ago.
Toyota commercials,
and
y'all.
she was in the TV show Parenthood.
Oh, that's why.
For quite some time. I lost my train of thought.
Sorry, my bad.
It's just so much stuff.
It did seem like they jam-packed a lot of things in there.
The thing about this movie is there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of like mythology that they're trying to shoehorn into this reality, and like, so there's this one fight scene where Alita figures out that she can fight, that she has that natural ability because she was a warrior 300 years ago. She was an warrior 300 years ago, and she does this weird axe kick. And they're like, that's Panzer Kuntz fighting style. Who's Panzer Kuntz? What is Panzer Kuntz? Don't care. Why? It doesn't matter.
So I'm going to point out a few things here.
Yeah.
I was just asking the other day, whatever happened to Jeff Fahey?
Who's Jeff Fahey?
He's an actor. He's in this movie as McTeague, the dog guy.
Oh, that's right. That's
Jeff
right.
Fahey.
Yeah.
Anyways, that answers that question.
Yeah.
And Casper Van Dien, also in this movie. Didn't realize.
Didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Oh, who was he?
He was a muck, one of Ito's former cyborg patients. So they showed him in there. I don't know.
Wow. So it's gone from Starship Troopers to random.
Yeah.
Random.
Michelle
cyborg.
Rodriguez was Gelda, a Martian cyborg commander from the
Okay.
23rd century.
Sure, she was.
In flashbacks. And Jai Courtney was also in this movie that
For
Rick
2
told me, and I
seconds.
didn't realize it.
For 2
as
seconds.
Josh
Quit
Ugan.
trying to make Jai Courtney happen.
Oh, that's sad. Jai Courtney. He's not good, man. Yeah, I mean, so I probably have the same problems with the movie that you did,
Yeah.
but I like the Flash in the no substance. I like the Flash. I realized the story was very thin.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't.
100%.
Then the whole love story part about it didn't need to happen at all.
No, not at all.
Waste of time,
Yeah.
waste of everything. They could have put something else in there that I would have rather had.
The motorball or whatever they call it.
I mean,
Unnecessary.
it was only necessary because it was a pivotal scene in the movie where she's trying to be in motorball because she's trying to get to the stupid thing.
Yeah.
It's just a vehicle to try to get her up into the other place, which
Yeah.
she didn't. She could have just probably walked up there. I don't know,
Yeah.
man. Anyway, apparently, there's
And then also when she finds the body
Yeah.
that Ito refuses to put her in, she totally acts like a brat, becomes a hunter killer, gets her body all mangled so that he has to put her in to that body.
What's wrong with that? Also, Jackie Earl Haley was the Garishka, the big dude.
Did you just voice it?
No, it was his face too. You can kind of
Okay.
tell when you look
Yeah,
at his
yeah.
face.
But like really like
Yeah, I mean he's all crazy and
Yeah.
crap. The fight scenes were really cool.
the fight scenes are great.
Even the rocket ball or whatever that stupid sport is called, the one where they're trying to kill her is
Yeah.
really great.
So what was that movie that
Rollerball,
no, it was the one
Death Race?
with the girls trapped in a school and they all have these weird fantasies about big giant samurais. Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch.
This was Sucker Punch.
This is like Sucker Punch. A lot of flash, no substance.
Looks super cool, right? Like,
But see, okay, so
like
here,
this would be great. Like if I was at like an EDM show and like this was just playing on the background and it's like
So-
and there's just like there's so much stuff happening.
But here's the thing. I think what Robert Rodriguez is trying to do, because if you look in the history of Battle Lita Angel,
Yeah.
there's a lot of good
Yeah.
stuff in there. This beginning stuff, not so good.
Yeah.
It's not so good, and he's trying to establish something so that he can get to the good stuff, and he's
Sure.
trying to put like the Flash and all that other
Yeah.
stuff in. So, as an entry movie, probably not the best. I was okay with a lot of it because I'm excited about where it's gonna go.
But are they even making a sequel?
Probably it made a lot of money, man.
Did it?
Yeah, I think it made enough to make a sequel. I think it's gonna be good.
This is my problem with pop culture. I'm gonna go on a rant for a second.
Go on a pop culture rant.
There's a lot of assumptions just because something makes money
That you should make
that
more
it's
of it.
good.
Yeah, I didn't say it was good because it made money.
But so like
Batman vs Superman made a lot of money too.
there's a podcast I listen to. I'm not gonna mention the name of it. But one of the guys is younger, one of the guys is older, and the older guy has a lot of like affinity for like classical things, just things that have natural like artistic value, right? The other one, who's much younger, he's probably like early 30s. His equation for is something is good or artistically has value is how much money did it make, or like how many downloads does it get, and things like that.
But
And so I feel like like if you look at the music industry, like of where it's gone, and we've lost like the albums, right? Like there's no more albums.
yeah, there's no more albums.
It's just singles, right?
And it's streams. It's not
And
even
streams, right? Like
it's
it
not-
it
it's
doesn't
not-
even matter.
They don't care how much you. They don't care how many of albums or singles you
No,
buy. They don't care about none of
I
that.
mean,
It's how many streams, downloads that you're not even paying for, and that's the value.
my favorite thing to do when I was in high school was to go to the music store, buy a stack of CDs, open them up, and look at like the artwork and see who the thank yous were.
Mhm.
Like that was the first
Yeah.
thing I ever did. You don't get that anymore, and I feel like that's where like a lot of like oh, it made a lot of money, so we're gonna make a sequel of it. Avatar made a ton of money. No one should be making sequels of that movie.
But so okay, I get what you're saying. Of like, money doesn't always equate to critical success.
Right.
Right. Meaning, it doesn't mean it's a good movie in terms of.
Yeah.
But then you think, what does a good movie even mean?
And you're right, because like art is totally subjective, right?
Yeah. So, but the thing is because something's popular, does that make it good? Right? Because there are a lot of people. I'll tell you right now, there are a lot of people that like Batman versus Superman. It sounds crazy.
Yeah,
it sounds
it
crazy,
does.
but there are a lot of people that'll be like, you know what?
Sounds like this is the start of the Hunger Games, and this is where the districts get formed.
It's just like they're like, well, it wasn't that bad. It was a good movie.
Yeah.
I liked the movie. I like this. They maybe didn't like parts of it. Most people I know that are my friends don't like it.
Yeah.
That's why they're my friends.
Yeah.
But the majority of people like the movie.
Yeah. That's crazy to me.
So just because something's popular, does that make it good?
No, I don't think it does.
I mean, doesn't make it good to me necessarily. But then again, I like Battle Angelita.
Yeah, I know.
You like Snowpiercer.
I'm going on a rant.
I know. No, I mean,
it's not necessarily about Battle Angelita.
No.
I'm just getting tired.
It's about making
of
making something again, even if it wasn't a good movie. Because forget pop culture, like the movies we like.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like, hey, let's make 15, I don't know, Paranormal Activities or some crap. Like, I'm done with that, dude. Let's make a Conjuring universe. Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Like, these movies are trash and everybody knows it, but people like seeing it.
Yeah.
You know.
Why are we making 4 Avatar sequels?
You know, honestly, to a greater extent, why keep making Star Wars?
Yeah, I mean,
Because now, oh my God, I'm probably gonna get roasted for this. I love Star Wars.
Yeah.
Me personally, right? Are they good movies? Not as good as they used to be. They're not. I don't think they are. Compared to like
from an action standpoint, I feel like they're better. From a story standpoint, I feel like the original trilogy.
Yeah,
is
that's the point. I mean, again, all substance.
Yeah.
I mean, all flash, no substance. From a story wise, it's very muddled. It looks cool, and some of the things they do are really good, and they're enjoyable. But is Star Wars just an entertaining film? It was back in the day, but it was also really well done.
Yeah.
So now we're diverging to making like, hey, let's just make really cool looking films, and who cares what the story is? Because no one's gonna care.
Yeah.
That's why Transformers makes a lot of money. Those movies are garbage. Those movies have always been garbage. Even Bumblebee, their best movie. Literally, Bumblebee is their best movie.
Yeah.
And it was not that good. I mean, it was compared to like when you talk about movies.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a good movie.
Yeah. It was fun.
It was
but
fun,
it wasn't a good movie.
barely. But even the Transformers movies aren't even fun.
Yeah.
I don't understand what's going
Last
on.
Night was just terrible.
They're all crap, man.
Yeah.
But they make a ton of money, man. I mean, and then again, like I complain about them making remakes and all this stuff, but if I'm a business person, am I gonna go with something I'm not sure about?
Yeah.
Because I don't have MCU money.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't like to talk about last episode. I don't have all that money to play around with and make Shang-Chi and Eternals and Guardians of the Galaxy 4, whatever the heck I want to make, right?
Yeah.
I can't do that. I got to make sure that this movie is going to make some money.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with, hey, that movie made $1 billion.
Yeah.
I'm just going to make that again.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah.
I get the business side of it. I just think that we have to start so I think we can say that was successful and stop using successful and good.
Yeah. I got you.
In the same sentence, right? Like some horrible pop singer can release a single and it can be successful because because it gets Lady Gaga. It gets a ton of downloads.
Streams,
it gets a ton of plays, and it gets whatever. It's on the top of the charts because it was because it was downloaded so many times, right? Like that can be successful. Was it good? I think we need to start separating those two terms from themselves, right? Because there's been good movies that were not successful.
Oh yeah, hundreds, a lot of them.
Right.
Scott Pilgrim. Boom, boom, right there. Boom, roasted.
I mean, that's such a good movie, it has such a little
didn't make
following.
as much money, yeah.
Yeah.
So money doesn't always equal success necessarily, like in terms of whether something is good or worth watching.
Well, instead
worth watching is the better question.
Or worth listening to.
Or worth listening to, yeah. Or worth playing. Anything, right?
I am a church-going Christian. I do not listen to Christian music.
Never.
And the reason why I can't get into it is because 9 times out of 10, what I hear on the Christian radio is not good. Like it's not good
in terms of music.
It's
in
not
terms
good
of music,
to me, it is not good.
Yeah.
Can it be successful? Absolutely, because it's pandering to a specific audience. Is it good to my ears? No. No.
Kind of like Christian films.
100%.
Yeah, those are.
By the way, this episode is sponsored by PureFlix,
Netflix.
the Christian Netflix.
Watch the movies, maybe, or don't.
The only people in that commercial were white people.
Wow. And on that note, and they probably get treated better than the people in any of these dystopian futures. Because you know what? The one thing I noticed is when you're marginalized, well, forget all that. So I was actually surprised to see a black commander in what do you call it? In Handmaid's Tale. There's a black commander. I saw that and I was like, what?
Yeah, when they're in DC and you see the one black, I was like, what is he doing there?
Because
they would not allow that.
I actually think they would allow that, and it made me think McGilly's not so bad.
That's exactly why they would have let you allow that. Why they would allow that.
Yeah, we had one president. Anyway, if you want to email us, you can email us at itsgoingtogetsstupid@gmail.com.
You can tweet us at IGTGS show.
You can go to facebook.com/itsgoingtogetsstupid.
You can do something on Instagram at It's Gonna Get Stupid.
You can go to YouTube, watch our live stream when we're streaming on Sundays.
Search for It's Gonna Get Stupid podcast.
And search for It's Going to Get. I was almost there.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, and you can watch us live, and then you can phone in.
Yeah, at 281-698-7538.
Yeah, we'll read your. We'll have your call live on the air, or we'll read your email on the air, play it on the air, do something on the air. On the air, guys.
We'll do it
on
live.
the air. Cowabunga. Anyway, you can go to the website at www.itsgoingtogetsstupid.com. And on that note, here's hoping that we don't have a dystopian future. So, Snowpiercer, I think it's a good movie. I would watch it. If you haven't seen it yet, the hype is real, honestly. I still like the ending. I'm a big ending person, so don't take that for anything.
Alita Battle Angel, fun to watch, didn't care for the story.
Yeah. Still, you know what? I don't even know if it'd be good on the little screen, but on the big screen in the IMAX is really cool.
I did see it at home.
Yeah, so, I mean, whatever. But some of those entertainment movies you just got to see.
Yeah.
Also, do not let dystopian futures happen. Speak up, speak out, speak loudly, and don't let anybody lower your voice or cover your voice or cover your mouth or put you in a coffin. Whatever, one of the three. One of those three things. Don't let that happen.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
Puts baby in. Don't let baby get put in the corner either, because she'll be eaten by Chris Evans.